Greetings, one and all. It is the Tonic Man, and we have a show for you tonight. Holy Toledo. Every single time we have a call, it's good, it's better and better. They just keep getting better and better. I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to mention to all of you that the call tonight was pre-recorded, as we do many calls. And we're going to be doing that more and more because a lot of folks with really outstanding stories cannot make it on the Sunday night call live. But not only that, it's good that we have a chance to chat with the person a little bit before the call is actually recorded. And tonight you're going to hear a little bit of the chatter that I had with Betty, who is our ambassador of health, who brought Chester, our guest, Emanuel Chester, our guest, to the call tonight. And it's important for you to maybe hear that so that you can see how you can be doing this yourselves. What Betty did is what all of you can do. Some of you think you cannot do it. That's not true. You can do it. If you talk to somebody and get them comfortable. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I can't do that, I won't, and maybe later, and so on. Well, look, in the case of our guest tonight, it's been years that he has not come to this call, but he's coming to the call because Betty called him, talked to him, asked him to do it, made him feel comfortable, and so on. So you can all do that. So we're going to let that little part play just before the call itself starts. The other thing, of course, is that this call tonight is about the big C. And don't we all know people in our lives that have come into that kind of a problem? What a health issue to have. There are so many kinds of cancer. There are so many degrees of it. It's really hard to wrap your arms around it and figure out what to do. But tonight you're going to hear a lot of things that are really going to surprise you and, of course, make you very, very happy. So we're going to get right into that wonderful story, and I'm just going to play the disclaimer, and we'll get right into it. And then I'll come back on the other side of the call to, well, maybe even if some of you have some comments, we can have some people jump in on the call. But here we go, and as soon as we do that disclaimer, the call will start. And we'll see how it goes. I think you're going to be very, very excited. Here we go.
JC Tonic is a natural drink filled with 18 herbs that will change your life. They work together to restore your energy, detoxify your bloodstream, and purifies your entire system.
Durac Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and or function of your body in various ways. But it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be of everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Durac Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.
So, Emanuel, you were a stop-and-starter kind of guy, and I've been a continuous kind of guy. Yeah. And I think over the years, it makes a difference if we just even take the slightest, like a half an ounce, something on an ongoing basis. Like Betty, I mean, she's been on it for 30-plus years, and we have other people, 30, 40 years, that don't go to doctors anymore, don't get colds anymore, and all they take is like an ounce a day, you know.
Well, I shared that with my oncologist. I also shared it with my family physician. I shared it with my alternative doctor. And just recently, I shared the same thoughts and opinion with my physical therapist.
Are they all drink?
Well, they all anticipating because they all realize that it has true substance. The results standing out. I'm still here based upon their medical standards. I should have been dead several years ago, according to their prognosis of my condition. And I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity. My daughter introduced me to the product when she was staying in Tampa. It's been a blessing, a true blessing. Yeah.
It's saving your life for sure after all these years. My God.
Did you get them to all drink it? The doctors, all of folks?
First oncologist, he started drinking it. I'm not sure because he left the practice when he realized that what he had diagnosed me and gave me my prognosis at the same time. And after they gave me 6 to 8 months to live, and I, 10 months, I was still here.
Wow.
So I had no problem telling him this stuff. But I believe, Tony, that in the society that we live in, the only proof that we have is living proof. And that's why I actually share this testimony wherever I can all over the country. Being an evangelist and minister, I have an opportunity to tell my story. And the end result, I'm not always sure because I don't focus on whether or not the product has been purchased. I've just been told that it does, and they do, and their results are great. So I know it works for me, has worked for me, and I'm thankful.
Well, telling your story tonight, it's going to impact a lot of people when they hear your story on the conference call. So it's wonderful that you're going to do that for everybody tonight.
Thank you.
Just let her rip because let's just say this is the conference call, and the whole world is now listening. So, Betty, take it on over.
Oh, well, good evening, everybody, and this is our Sunday evening conference call once again. We're really happy tonight to have as our special guest Emanuel. Emanuel is a very busy 73-year-old minister, and he travels around the country to spread the word of God. In the year 2000, Emanuel was diagnosed with Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a very aggressive cancer. It didn't look very good, what he was facing. So he will share his story with us tonight and how he was introduced in 2003 to the JC Tonic by his daughter, thank God, and how the tonic has blessed his life since first taking it. So good evening, Emanuel, and thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to tell us your story. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say, for sure.
Thank you, Betty, and thank the listening audience for allowing me to share with you my testimony of this tonic that has worked tremendously in my life for me. I even shared my wife has the opportunity to be a taker of the tonic as well. But it started, like I say, in 2003 when everything seemed to be turning upside down. We've gone through different procedures and different tests. They had already gave my prognosis of 6 to 8 months to live, so forth and so on. And therefore, I was just searching for something that would at least sustain me for a moment, make me comfortable, because I had become totally lethargic in my movement. I was tired, energy was gone. I was struggling trying to be productive, period, especially in the ministry. And my daughter at that time was living in Tampa, Florida, and she had met a lady who shared with her about the JC Tonic. And this lady was a representative at that time. And so she gave me her number, and I called her. And she convinced me from the presentation that this was really a good product for me to use at this time, cleanse my blood and allow me to become energized again. So my daughter at that time, her husband, they ordered me the first package of JC Tonic at that time, and I began to take it extensively, really, because I was told that I could take it because of my condition. I could take it twice a day instead of once a day, and I began to do that. And within, I guess, 2 to 3 months after I began taking it, I began to see the effect on my body. I began to feel it as well as see it. I began to have energy that I hadn't had in a while, and it was quite an experience. I was able to go walking, do things that I had not been able to do for a while. And I stayed with it. Then I had another attack, a different form of cancer, in 2007, I think it was. And it was aggressive, and I had to get a treatment of radiation. And so I left my home here in Huntsville, traveled to California, and to take this treatment. Well, the treatment was supposed to be for 3 months of radiation. So in the process, I was disconnected from the product, right? When I got there, I had enough product to last me for those 3 months that I was there. But then the time ran over, I ran out product, and it became difficult to get. I was going down fast. The cancer spread from different areas throughout my body. The lymphoma became more active, and it was very challenging at that time. They were trying to figure out ways to actually save my life, as they said. They wanted to operate on me and open me up and do certain other activities that I would not allow them to do at that time. They wanted to experiment with some form of chemo that I refused. I told my wife I'm not putting chemo in my body, and that's how we was going to do it. And miraculously, funds came in that allowed me to be able to reorder the uric and have it delivered to me. Tony, I think you actually shipped it to me, Tony. Shipped it to me in California to where we were staying. And I began to get back on the tonic at that time because before then I was able to walk 3.5 miles a day, work out in the gym, had energy galore. But during the radiation treatment, I had a setback, and the radiation took me really deep into depression as well as uncomfortableness, really state of mind of almost giving up. But once I got back on the tonic, I began to feel revitalized. I still wasn't as active as I was before then because I went through a traumatic amount of laser surgery. They were trying to remove tumors without operating on me, opening me up. The healing process was very slow. I was still taking the tonic, but I was not taking it actively. I had a conversation with Tony, and Tony said, well, at this stage, you need to take twice a day doses, twice a day. He said, yes, take it twice a day. Well, I started taking it twice a day, and sure enough, I was revitalized to a level that I was able to, function without feeling tired and run down all the time. So I had the roller coaster experience with it because I had a lapse of time when I came back to Huntsville, Alabama. I was at a pretty low state because I was just totally worn down from the treatments and the process that I had gone through, bone marrow biopsies. So many things they were doing, trying to figure out how they could save my life. And none of them actually worked. Into my spine, trying to find a solution, but nothing actually worked. So when I got back here and I was going through the up and down again, my wife said, what about the uric? I said, well, baby, I hadn't had any since I left. I'm back here. And so we went on a campaign to get JC Tonic to me here in Huntsville. And they had donors actually donated this tonic to me, ordered it for me to begin taking it again. And I began to be revitalized again. And actually, it showed up so wonderful in my lab work and in my alternative doctor's office that she wanted to know what was this tonic and how was it being administered and the whole chemical breakdown. And I was proud to let her read. I had several of those little books that they used to distribute that I was able to hand out to individuals and let them see what this miraculous tonic was doing and could do and what it was made up of. And people were just overwhelmed. Now, there are several people that I know who are on the tonic now who are taking it and still asking. There are others who are actually asking me because they say it's impossible for you to still be functioning with this type of aggressive cancer in your body like that. Well, my response is always going to be spiritual first. With God, all things are possible. So with God and the tonic, I get good lab reports. It actually cleans my blood as it states. It's very difficult for them to find anything out of order with my blood work, my lab work. Tumors are not as large as they used to be when the growth is not as extensive as it was. My energy level, it goes up and down, but if I stay consistent with the tonic, I think last time I spoke with Betty, she reminded me to do twice a day. The twice a day dose is the best way for a person with this type of cancer to be able to function properly. As Betty stated, I travel all over the country. I'm still traveling. I'm trying to, but I travel with my uric. And so this past weekend, I had to be in Phoenix City, Alabama, and I assure you, had I struggled because I forgot to bring my tonic with me. Yeah. And that was a real nightmare because my energy level bottomed out.
Emanuel, this story is so remarkable. I'm so taken aback. But, you better call on God to get you a better phone line to remind you to take your tonic with you.
Yeah, so, yeah, my wife. Now, my wife is my best phone line. I think we were just we were struggling. We were struggling with whether I wanted to take the trip or not because I wasn't up to par. But I had made the commitment, so I was willing to make this trip. And my packing, with that rush packing, I left my tonic, but I take little miniature bottles filled with the tonic in it, and it was a terrible ordeal. So I was sharing this with the gentleman who drove me, who was our driver, because I was unable to drive myself. And I said, man, I got about enough to make it through this week. And that gentleman said, well, you don't have to worry about that ever again. He said, what I've seen and witnessed, and before and after, because he's seen me, I tell him I take it every day. He said, you will never have to worry about running out again. As soon as we get back Monday morning, I will have this ordered, and we will get it to you as soon as possible.
That is great.
So my daughter and him, is her friend, they got online. I gave them Betty's number because I was feeling so terrible. They got the number from Betty to call Betty, and next thing I know, Betty was calling me. And I said, oh, they have done this already? It was early that morning. And so I'm waiting on my refill. I'm holding on to about 3 ounces I got left.
Oh, so you should have your order tomorrow.
I'll be praying for it because I have quite an engagement in front of me. So, I'm praying that it do get here tomorrow, Betty. Yes. But this tonic has done miracles for me. My wife is a diabetic. And
is she taking the tonic as well?
I give her the tonic. I make sure she gets it. But she's not on a pill. Mm-hmm. She's not on insulin. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And very seldom do she go into what they call a diabetic
crisis.
Yeah. If that don't happen. Because I have to make sure she drinks it, Tony. I have to make sure she drinks it.
So you've been now, you were supposed to die how many years ago?
Oh, Tony. Well, I've had three death warrants, right, babe?
Three?
They started in 2000. They gave me 6 to 8 months to live. And they came back around in 2006. Yeah. And I ended up going to California behind that. And then in 2012, I was told that I was 4-stage terminal. Mm-hmm.
2012. Holy cow.
Yeah. So, and I just decided I would ask my oncologist because I just come out of a treatment called Rituxan. And it's not a chemo. It's a substance that is supposed to eat away the radicals that the cancer feeds off of. But it's administered through IV therapy. And so I said, I've been doing this for quite a while. I said, Doctor, could you just, if you don't mind, let me know my status now? And he looked at me and his eyes dropped and he said, well, Pastor Chester, 4-stage terminal. I said, what?
That was in 2012?
This is 2019, Tony.
Oh, my good Lord.
It's 2019.
Oh, so you're dead? You're really supposed to be dead now.
Been dead.
You've been dead.
Yeah.
You rose up again.
Yeah. So I just continue to testify on behalf of God and the uric. I mean, people say that my story is centered around this particular tonic. I've taken a lot of things kind of over the years, but that uric has sustained me. It's kept my blood cleansed, and it gives me another thing that it helps digestive system. It really helps my digestion. So.
Well, this is just amazing. With that kind of cancer, you're right. People would normally be a goner a long time ago, and for you to, boy, oh boy, I don't have words.
Yeah, I tell people because it's all about a miracle topic because I know and have known at least 8 people with the same diagnosis, the same cancer diagnosis, who are now sleeping.
Yeah,
so,
I've known plenty too, and I've spoken to a number of them, and without the tonic, they have a bad time of it.
Yes, my closest and dearest colleague, we worked together, and he had a bout with it, and it hit him so fast, but he was so fearful. And I told him, I said, man, you don't have to fear it, I said, I actually shared him with the tonic, but his wife was like, we got to do something quick. You can't depend on tonic. I said, no, I'm not saying depend on the tonic, but you can utilize the tonic as a part of your other treatment.
Yeah.
He traveled all the way to what part of Mexico? Down to Mexico, and he went through therapy down there and all that, but he came back, he was worse. He was in worse shape, man. And he passed, and I eulogize my best friend.
Well, you know, Emanuel, for all those folks that you do run into, if they drink the tonic and if they only extend their lives 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 years, that alone is a gift, because really, if you can stay alive with those kind of illnesses, then you're okay. I mean, it's not the greatest, it's not as comfortable as if you didn't have those health issues, but good Lord, if you can live and have energy and still smile and eat and have fun and enjoy life, even with a little pain and discomfort. My golly.
Yeah, and I know there are several people, Tony. I travel to Las Vegas every year for the last 5 years. About the last 5 years, I've been going to Las Vegas. I do a week of prayer there. Yeah, so don't get me wrong. I don't go out there to do anything but.
No, you go there because Las Vegas needs a lot of prayer.
Yeah. So I go out there. Yeah. And I know there's several people who are taking the tonic. Matter of fact, the guy, one of the pastors, he started taking it when I shared it with him and shared my testimony. So there are some out there that are on Las Vegas, in California, you know. And I mean, I don't keep up with it because I don't do the salesmanship part. I just do the testimony part. I don't mind telling them because this is where I'm at. I love to share my story. I love to tell my story about how using this tonic has worked tremendously for me. And I'm on it every day. Every day.
Well, that is what we have been telling people. If you do the mission, that's the important part of it. It's the mission that counts. And if you can pay it forward and touch a few people's lives and make their lives a little bit more comfortable or maybe even longer and better, you know, we've done our duty. And so let me tell you, Emanuel, over the years, I know I've spoken to you a number of times, and
yes, you have,
and you've been at it a long time, and I'm so happy to have you share that story, because there's a lot of godly people who listen to this call, and if it takes them to believe it's the hand of God, good, because just maybe it is. You just never know, you know.
You know, God can use anything He needs to do get His point over and His spirit, and I believe this was God sent to me. Really, I do. I told my daughter, I said, I'll never forget it, because they the one introduced me to it, and it worked. I've taken a lot of things over the years, though. I've tried a lot of health herbs and everything over the years, because everybody wants you to drink this, take this, swallow that. You know, man. So, but this JC Tonic has by far lived up to its name with me.
You know, I so many times think in those terms, but I don't want to tell people that the hand of God is on it. But you know what? Boy, oh boy, we've had so many miracles that I don't know what the explanation could be. And then when you start thinking about it, why did we end up calling it JC?
Mm-hmm. Why?
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with it.
Hey, well, now for me, you know what I'm thinking.
No,
I don't know about it. That Jesus Christ tonic.
Yeah, well, that's what I've thought a few times. I tell you, with the miracles that we've heard, including yours, holy cow! I mean, what else could it be except a miracle? But anyway, whatever it is, we sure are happy that it worked for you, and that you've shared this wonderful story with us.
Yeah, God's been keeping you around for a reason, and one of the reasons, I think, is to tell your story and help others.
Thank you. I do believe that. I do believe that. Yes, I believe that with all my heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
thanks, Emanuel, very much. The people listening to this call will be delighted, and hopefully they get the word.
Yeah.
I pray that they do, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to share. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right.
God bless you.
All right. Betty, stay on the line now. We'll trade a couple of comments. Hey, folks, what about that? Now, is that a miracle call? Betty, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
hi.
A miracle call.
Wow, holy cow! What you know, I've known him long before you knew him, and I could never get him to do a call, and you got him to do this call. That is really, really great. Maybe
yeah, no, he was really happy, and I mean, I keep bugging people anyway. You know that they get tired of me calling.
I think the people listening and everybody involved with the tonic would probably like to be able to get people to the call like that, and maybe they just don't have it. And as you said, it's just persistence. And sometimes I guess you just say the right word to the person. They said, "Okay, I'll do it."
Yeah, well, I think, especially in Emanuel's case, and we're dealing with cancer. I mean, God, how many people do we lose with cancer? How many people do we know with cancer? It's just rampant.
Well, every one of our members has probably had somebody close to them maybe die from cancer or get it or go through this terrible ordeal of the treatments and so on. I'm sure that. Wow. Well, anyway, I know we're having another call on cancer. Why don't you tell the folks about that so next week they can make sure they bring anybody or everybody that has any experience or is happening in their family to the call to listen.
Sure. Well, this is a friend of mine, actually, whose sister has cancer or had cancer years ago. Lung cancer specifically, and unfortunately the cancer has come back, and she decided to send her sister 2 bottles to try. She hadn't been able to convince her sister to take it, but the sister got some bad news about a month ago that the cancer had returned. So she decided to see, if she could do anything at this point, and the sister.
Well, let's not give the story away.
No, I better not give it away. No, people, you have to listen. It is another miracle. Yep, and it's our responsibility, everybody we have something in our hands. We have to share it with people. We can ease their pain and give them some hope, and
well, if it's a lifesaver in particular, I think it's mandatory that we tell people, even though they may not want to listen. As you're just saying, that lady did not want to listen, but a lot of people do not want to listen, and one day maybe they will, and they may try it. So it's up to us to just keep hammering at them, as you did with Chester, and as I've done with many people over the years, because I've had plenty of people rebuff me and say, no, I'm no good at that. I'm afraid. I'm nervous. I'm this. I'm that. Which, by the way, this pre-recording gets rid of all that. You see our little discussion we had before the call. That was just perfect to warm up Emanuel and let him realize that there's nothing to it, really. And I think a lot of people think, oh, it's a live call and it's going over across the world, and, what am I going to say? And I'll freeze up. And I'm sure people think like that,
Yeah, and people are nervous. I mean, I'm still pretty nervous before I get on a call, but I kind of pray, and I take an extra shot of the JC Tonic to give me a little bit of liquid courage.
That's funny. I do it all the time myself anyway.
So that helps, But no, I just feel such a heavy responsibility to tell people about it, and I know in my heart it's what your dad would have wanted. So I kind of do it for various reasons. But I see all the people and all the animals that I've helped over the years. And I can't convince everybody. Believe me, I've lost people very close to me who wouldn't even listen to me, and that's very difficult. But just don't give up, Just don't give up.
And I've had the same experiences, and we all have. Yeah. But we're here, folks, tonight to tell you, just try again. You have to keep talking about it. You have to keep telling people. And let them listen to calls like this. You don't have to have them listen to what Betty and I are saying or what I'm saying up front. Just cut the call right to the Emanuel's part and let them listen. They may also think that this is crazy. It may be, But if you let them listen to call after call, eventually, if they're still sick and not getting well, they might decide to give it a try, and look what happens when people give it a try.
Yeah,
Holy
I'm
cow.
writing up an order right now as we're talking, a brand new person, and she ordered the 4+2 special, which ends, by the way, in another day. But I'm in the process right now of doing what I do for everybody. I'm sending her information on email, and the information I'm sending is actually some of our prior conference calls. So she's really excited to listen to some of the old calls and what people had to say. And, you know, business-wise, that's how I've been building my business. Just get information out there. People ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? And I just say, get the information out there. Like every week, sit down at your computer and just, you know, do a blast and send out the calls.
That's right. Just got to keep it in their face and keep reminding them. People are so busy, they're racing around with a to-do list a mile long, and you just got to keep doing it. At some point, it may hit home. It's the same in every aspect of lives, of business, of work, of school, of children. Are they going to go and just grab their books and do the homework? Some do, but most of the time parents have to nudge them or push them or really push them to get them to go and do their homework the way they're supposed to. And they do that every day for, 5-10 years while they're in school. So it's the same in life with everything. We need a little reminder and a friendly reminder and a good call to send to a person just may do the trick. So, Betty, this is a great, great, great call, and we're going to have that other great one next week. And in the meantime, we'll get this one out to as many people as we can, as quickly as we can. Thank you once again very much for getting Emanuel to the call. I think it's a story. I mean, for somebody who was supposed to die in 2002.
Yeah, I know. He's here for a reason, as I said to him, you know.
Yeah, he sure is.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
well,
my
thank
dear.
You.
Thanks. Good night, and good night, everybody. Remember, take an ounce and feel the bounce. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye now.
Uric Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways. But it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Uric Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.